Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, Neil, how you doing today? First one in, I see. Uh, I'm actually at the kitchen table this morning because I was working on some other stuff and actually had to bring my computer out to the living room last night. And when I went to bed, I just went ahead and left it in the living room. So this morning I'm working from the kitchen table. Fun, fun. Hadn't done that in a short while. Uh, okay. Let's see here. Yeah. Everything went well on Friday with the wife. I'm babying her. We had a discussion as to whether or not she was going to go to work today, and she decided she was going to go ahead and try it. I tried to keep her on the couch all weekend, laying down, but you know, like me, she's 60 plus years old and has decided she knows her own mind. So, well, I'm glad you're doing great for once there, Neil. That's always good news to know people are doing good. I don't know. This is something that I woke up to this morning. And I've only seen a few other people commenting on it. So this happened last night. And I didn't listen to Monkey last night, so I don't know if he commented on it. I haven't listened to his show because I try not to listen to his show before I do mine. Okay, but anyway, rumblings. Democrats are hiding a serious the Democrats are hiding seriousness of Fetterman's condition to avoid special election. John Fetterman is rumored to be brain dead while reportedly hospitalized at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center in Bethesda. This won't be the first time Fetterman and the Democrats have hidden his health problems from the public. In May, Gateway pundit reported that Fetterman suffered a stroke that almost took his life just months before the midterms. Democrats hid the seriousness of his condition and pushed him to campaign when he was not even capable of holding a conversation. We all remember that. How during the debates, he had to have somebody actually, type in the questioning for him and had to put it on a large screen in very large letters so that he could even read what questions were going to be asked. I would not be surprised if there was somebody actually had one gotten him the questions beforehand so that they knew what was coming, you know, a la Hillary Clinton. And I would not be surprised if part of that teleprompter screen he had in front of him, quote unquote teleprompter screen, or that he didn't have somebody feeding him answers. But yeah, we know that that was not entirely good. And there's a lot of questions being raised about his health back then. So back to the story. Yeah, it does seem to be very recurring, Mill. Fetterman did not come clean on his health for years regarding his heart disease or how damaging last year's stroke was. He now has a pacemaker and a defibrillator implanted. It was only recently reported that he has serious mental health issues from the stroke that has taken a psychological toll on him. Gateway pundit reported yesterday that Fetterman is much worse than his wife, and staff are telling the public after checking into the hospital for clinical depression on February 15th. Now, the further story on this is that his wife has taken the children and gone to Canada. so that they don't have to face the press. Because of course, the Canadians are now they're out in hiding, and that's so. Is Fox News? I don't trust ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, MSNBC, Washington Times, New York Times, the Post. I don't trust any of these yahoos to actually go out there and do any investigative reporting, do any investigations into Fetterman's actual health. Just like I don't trust Walter Reed to be honest with us as to what his condition actually is. Are they going to allow a camera crew, to go back in and do a live stream from his room? I seriously doubt it. They'll claim patient privacy. They'll claim something or another that will prevent anybody from getting back in there. Hey, morning, CK. How you doing today? Been a while. So, like I said, I don't trust unless he comes out and does a live stream holding up today's newspaper with the headlines on it. I really don't. And it's a shame. It's a shame you cannot trust what's going on in DC. But we have just seen too many shenanigans. Oh, ouch. Oh, man. Had to have injections into my spine. Oh, CK, I am so sorry to hear that. I've had those where they inject the dye into your spine so they can x-ray your nerves and such. So all that stuff shows up on your spinal cord, shows up on the x-ray or MRI or whatever. Man, I hope you are feeling a lot better. And I hope you didn't suffer too much going through those injections because they hurt like hell. And especially when you got a belly like me and they're trying to bend you forward to spread your spine out because they want your head damn near between your knees to spread the disc as far apart as possible to work the needles in. Man, I'm so sorry to hear that. But yeah, question is I don't know if I don't trust Fetterman to be alive at this point. And the thing is they've got to hide this until August 18th. And this, from my understanding, all right, my understanding is if he is pronounced dead or physically incapable of fulfilling his role as a senator before August 18th, they have to hold a special election to replace him. After August 18th, the governor can just appoint someone to finish the term. And who would get appointed? Traditionally, it's been the wife or the spouse. 'Cause that's, of whoever's in office. Yeah, CK, that's the question. Will Fetterman's wife be made senator? That's the floating rumor. Who knows? But the Democrats in and the governor of Pennsylvania do not want to hold a special election right now. Not in this climate. Not in this political climate right now, because the Democrats are hurting. And that would throw the Senate back into a 50-50 split, which the Democrats do not want. Because right now they got the 51. And so that when Manchin and SEMA and such don't vote when they're with the Democrats, they've still got enough there to win by getting the vote. They got that. They can afford to have one person vote no or side with the Republicans and still get their way because of Kamala being the deciding vote at that point. But if it goes back to a 50-50 split, then one Democrat vote with the Republicans, and the Democrats lose. And they don't want that. Hey, Green Badger, how you doing today? So, yeah, this is a scary situation for the Democrats, because they definitely don't want that mess. Now, I am not saying that Fetterman is brain dead. There's reports are coming out. That is the rumor. All right, let me make that clear. YouTube, this is a rumor that is being spread. And oh, by the way, I just realized this week I have been streaming since 2019. I've got my first stream was in 2019, but then I've got stuff mostly from 2021. 2020 and 2021 is when I first really got streaming. So I didn't realize I've been streaming that long. And what it is I bought a 2 terabyte scan disk flash drive. And after having now my 7th stream taken down by YouTube, I went and I'm backing up all my streams. And the thing is using StreamYards, they automatically back up your first 50 hours worth of stuff. So I've backed up everything I had on StreamYards, and then starting today, as soon as I'm done streaming, I will back up today's stream. I won't have to rely on the on downloading it off of YouTube. Hey, morning, Wiki. But yeah, I'm in the process of downloading everything I've got off of YouTube. I wish I had those 7 streams, especially this last one that got taken down, but I don't, and that's bad on me. So anybody who wants to start streaming, or if you are streaming, spend that. I mean, a scan disc cost me $125 or $106, $125 with tax, from Best Buy. And if you want to keep your streams to where you can upload them later to Rumble or somewhere else, then I would highly recommend go ahead and doing that. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm expecting it to get a lot worse with this new change. I started Wiki. The reason why I started streaming wasn't because of the coof time, but I got invited. Well, I started streaming because I was getting pissed off, and the wife told me to shut up. She got tired of hearing me. And I already had bought a microphone, a Snowball, And it was like, well, why not? Nobody's going. So I started doing little 10, 15-minute things and uploading them. And then I found out I just hated going through all the editing process that it took to do that. And that streaming for me was a much easier process to do and seemed a little bit more, it was more me than trying to make it something even quarterly professional, that, with all the editing and everything. So that's why I started doing the streams. And then I got invited on to Minions one night by Prospero and Skeptalk. And then that's what caused me to start streaming on a more regular basis. So, yeah, raw and uncut. Mistakes and all. Let them all hang out. I mean, this way everybody gets to know me. It's not a persona. It's not. When you see what people do, this is just my opinion. When you see what people do in an edited format, then you know that they've cut out things, that the mistakes or things that they accidentally said or didn't want to have, didn't want to be put out there. So, yeah, now granted, a lot of people cut out the dead air when they were thinking about something, which I do have I do on occasion have some dead air because I'm trying to get my next thought lined up. But is that the moon at the bottom? Actually, yes, it is. Let's see here. Let me. Shot of the Earth from the moon. Yeah, and I just want you guys to get to know me. If somebody's listening to me, I want them to be listening to me because I'm being real. I'm being, they're wanting to listen to me for what I'm actually saying, not what I think they want to hear me say. So, and okay, this next thing I'm going to talk about here is what's another major reason why I'm downloading my own streams, because this stream will stand, I would say, a 75% chance of being deleted by YouTube. Okay, say that right now. This stream will be 75% chance of being removed by YouTube because of this next subject. And being 20 minutes in, I'm hoping, well, 19 minutes and 30 seconds in, I'm hoping that it far enough in where the algorithm doesn't catch it. This is a Rasmussen poll. This is the Rasmussen poll that has gotten Dilbert's creator taken off of the newspapers. Everybody and their brother is angry at him for this, what he said about this poll. Okay. Well, I appreciate that, Neil. Do you agree or disagree? And this was a blacks response only. Do you agree or disagree with the statement, it's okay to be white? Yeah, not to be confused with Rasputin. Okay. Strongly agree. 50. I hate this thing. It's either 53 or 58. This is the best I could get. Agree, 14%. Somewhat disagree, 6%. Strongly disagree, 6%. Not sure, 17%. So 67% of blacks agree that it's okay to be white. But the problem is, let's see, 12, you got 30 some odd percent, according to these numbers. And for some reason, these numbers aren't agreeing with the numbers I'm seeing in the newspapers, because in the newspapers it's saying it's 53-47. Are disagree in one degree or another that it's not okay to say. They say it's not okay to say it's okay to be white. So let's go. Let's why, and then Dilbert's creator, he said in this day and age, and I'm being very loosely, talking about what he said because I listened to his thing this morning. Why would you want to live around people who don't want you around them, who don't want you to say it's okay to be white? This whole idea, and this this really tears me up. I'm really torn up over this. All right, while the majority, let's use even the numbers that are being thrown out there, while the majority of the people, 53%, yeah, Scott Adams. Green Badger, I have no idea. Um, how many people did they say they don't even say how many people they interviewed on this poll. Okay, I don't have those numbers. That's why these polls, and you bring up a good point. I mean, where was the poll taken? How many people were polled? All this is important. All this is important. But realistically, this poll is just bringing up to light an issue that all of us have tap danced around for a long time. At least a lot of us white people have. You can go into a college and see Black history studies. You can go into a college and see Black dormitories. You can go to a college that will have a Blacks uh, or race-based graduation ceremonies, race-based this, people of color only allowed here. We're having a meeting of people of color. You can even workplaces, they will have special areas for people of color, special groups. They will have, all this stuff going on strictly for people of color. And yet, as soon and I get tired of hearing about this systemic racism. There's systemic racism against people of color in this country. I am still waiting for one person to show me one single law anywhere in this country that is in effect today that discriminates against Black people, against people of color, regardless. The only people I've ever seen a law, a policy, an accepted policy. And when I say accepted, accepted by the populace at large. Oh, yeah, that's a good policy. Are policies that discriminate against whites and white men or men. You can go to a gym. They'll have ladies only night or lady only hours. You go to a swimming pool. They'll have ladies only time period. All right. Do they have a men's only? And it's like I've told this story before when the local high school, local school district offered a program specific, girls only STEM courses. It was a program for girls only to go to meet with colleges and such about STEM field opportunities. And when I went to the school, well, I called them and I asked them, okay, so here's the night you've got set up for the girls only. When's your night for the boys to go to talk to these colleges and such about STEM fields? Well, we don't have one. Why not? Well, we want to encourage girls to get into STEM fields. Well, how about encouraging boys to get into STEM fields? Well, we're not about that. We're about encouraging the girls. So you're discriminating against boys then. You're violating Title IX. Well, no, we're not. I said, yeah, you are actually violating Title IX. Well, other schools do this. I don't give a damn. And that's where I made a mistake is when I said the word damn. But I don't give a damn what other schools do, other school systems do. My family, my children, my grandchildren will be going to this school district. I care about what happens in this school district. And it wasn't until shortly after that there was a lawsuit filed against the colleges that were involved in this program for violating Title IX. Oh yeah, thank God they passed that anti-lynching law. Hey, Judge L, good morning to you. I'm sorry I'm being late on that greeting you, but I'm still waiting on anybody to present to me one law, one regulation, one anything that discriminates against people of color. Yet you can have college professors sit there and say white people are inherently racist. White people don't care about black people. White people are this. White people, they can be openly racist. That can happen. It even happens in the Congress, on the House and Senate floors. Why do we have a Hispanic caucus? Why do we have a black caucus? Aren't these people there to represent everybody in their state or in their district, including white people, including black people, including Hispanic people, including the women, including the men? Aren't they there to represent everybody in their district or in their state? There is no reason for all these caucuses. And yes, I'm even talking about the whatever the hell those caucuses they have on the Republican side. Even though they're more adaptive and more inclusive, they're about specific subjects, not about the skin color or race or gender. Because you're not there to represent people based upon their skin color. You're not there to represent people based upon their gender. You're not there to represent people based upon who they like to sleep with or who they want to cuddle up next to. None of that matters. That's not what we elect them to be there for. We elect them to be there to represent everybody in their district, everybody in their states. Sometimes, Badger, you're not wrong. They are there to represent who invested into them. And actually, I know you're talking about money investors who all donated to them, but if it wasn't for we, the people, voting for them, they wouldn't be there. We invested our votes in them. So yes, they are there to represent their investors, the people that voted for them. But yeah, I get your point. You're talking about the dollars. But yeah, this just, and Dilbert's Scott Adams. He's got a few $10 million sitting in the bank account. All these newspapers canceling his comic strip, canceling Dilbert, that's not going to hurt him. And if he wants to continue putting them out there, he can. He's got his own website, and he can post them, make his drawings and put them up on his website. If he wants to make money off of them, he'll, charge $1 a month for access to his comics, and he'd still make money off of it. Put him behind $1 a month paywall, and he'd still make money off of his Dilbert cartoons. Even though I don't get them and read them on a regular basis, when I do see them out there floating around, I read them because Catbert and old Pointy Hair, I love those characters. They're great. But this whole idea, and I know I'm really conflating subjects here, but there is sort of a theme to today's stream, because we're going from one thing to another, and race has a lot to do with almost everything in today's stream. And it's just, I get tired of talking about race. I get tired of hearing about race. I get tired of hearing about, people advancing hate to other people based upon not what they do, but the color of their skin or what they look like. If a man wants to walk around with all of his fingernails painted different colors, have 10 different colors painted on his hands, wearing makeup and wigs and everything else, I don't care. Go live your best life. Just leave my family alone. Don't try to interact with my children. Don't try to interact with my grandchildren without permission. Just, you go live your life. Let me live my life. I'm not going to come over and bug you. You don't come over and bug me. Now, Neil, I grew up in a farming community. There was exactly one black family that was year round, and then that family were my best friends. I've told this before. Tried to date one of their cousins. Beautiful young lady. I tried to date her, and her family and my family, and this is late 60s, early 70s, I'd say. Our families were a little bit on the older side, and they're the ones that put the kibosh to it. They didn't think the idea of a white boy dating a black girl was a good idea back then. Even though the families were friends and they ate at our house and we ate at their house, if we needed help, they came over and helped us. If they needed help, we went up and helped them. They're really good people. That even back then, there were some ties. Our biggest problems by the time when I was growing up, now we did have problems with the migrant families that came up. They'd show up in the spring for the last month or so of school, and then they'd still be there in the fall for the first month or so, and then they'd move on. And we had problems with their kids. Some of their kids came to school, but now they lived such a lifestyle that they weren't exactly cohesive with ours. So, yeah, Badger, you're right. Identity politics is the most effective way. And, it's not just identity based on your skin color, but identity based upon your wallet and your bank account. Oh, how dare they have more money than we do? How dare that happen? No, we shouldn't be a lot. We shouldn't be we shouldn't be uh, allowing them to have all this money when we don't have so much. That's not a good thing. They've got too much money. So yeah, I mean it's not just identity based upon the wallet or your skin color. A lot of this identity politics we get right now are identity politics based upon the wallet and the bank account. I'm having to adjust my computer thing stand here because my computer was starting to get a little warm because I didn't have it angled up enough for the air to circulate underneath it. About a cheap little $19 fan stand for my laptop. And it really does a great job of keeping my laptop cool. Now, see, we didn't have, our school didn't have the busing issues. Our school was made up of 3 townships, and everybody went to the same school. I mean, each township had their own elementary school, but as far as fifth or sixth, seventh, and eighth grade, and then high school, ninth, 10th, 11th, and 12th, everybody went to the same school. It didn't matter. So there wasn't this busing based upon race where I grew up. So I really can't speak from personal experience on that. So what we got left here? Remember a couple weeks ago, I did a stream. The 86 who should be 86th. There are 86 Democrats in the House that refused to vote to condemn the horrors of socialism. So that means there were a few Democrats, and we covered them. There are a few Democrats who did vote to condemn the horrors of socialism. Well, Nevada, for some people in Nevada, they're angry at those Democrats. Nevada far left fumes after Democrats reps vote to condemn the horrors of socialism. Nevada Democrat socialists were outraged when state Democratic lawmakers from their state voted for a resolution condemning the horrors of socialism, and the state party has refused to condemn them. One of a number of flashpoints between the progressive left and the more centrist party officials. The Las Vegas branch of the Democratic Socialists of America took aim at the Nevada State Democratic Party for oscillating between playing respectability politics and making compromises to the center, even after a slave progressive gained power in the state party apparatus. The group was particularly incensed by a bipartisan vote in the U.S. House of Representatives, which condemned the horrors of socialism, noting that human rights abuses in places such as Cuba, North Korea, and the Soviet Union. The Democratic Socialists were not impressed by the vote or the state party's refusal to condemn the condemnation. The party took no stance when every single one of our elected state representatives proudly voted to condemn the horrors of socialism, and indeed continue to do free messaging for the handful of so-called progressive representatives who insist that voting against socialism was necessary for passing a progressive agenda. That, along with a number of other grievances, have led the group to conclude that the Democratic Party is a dead end. No, Badger, they don't. They absolutely do not know that. Oh, yeah, she said that. And that was, back in 2008. And now she said that she didn't mean what she said, that what she said was taken out of context. So, yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. It's a party in name only, simply a tangled web of dark money, mega donors, cynical consultants, and lapdog politicians. Well, that's politics in general. Dark money, mega donors, cynical consultants, and lapdog politicians. I mean, this gets back to one of the things I was just talking about. We elect these people to go there and represent our interest, and so many times they go to somebody else's interest. We don't want milquetoast progressive reformist reforms. We want socialism. Excuse me. We won't get it by playing the DNC's games. We won't get it by being mildly obnoxious thorn in their side either. They're coming right out and saying it. They want to get rid of our form of government. And remember, let's go back. What was Obama said 2 weeks before he got sworn into office? We are going to fundamentally change this country. Now, the only way, and I've said this then, and I'll say it now. When you want to fundamentally change something, that means you don't like it. You do not like what is there. If you want to fundamentally change a house, what do? You tear the house down, you tear down a large part of the house, and you rebuild it. You put up what you want. If you want to fundamentally change it, you don't like what's there. You don't like the bare bones of it. You want to fundamentally change something, you want to destroy it and rebuild it. And when Obama and the Democrats back then said that they wanted to fundamentally change this country, I said it then, I say it now, and I say it to this day. They're talking about making us a socialist country. They just weren't. They just were not coming out and publicly admitting it. But they're set. But now the Nevada Democratic Party, or portions of it, are coming out and saying it. And it actually made the news. But you don't see this being talked about in the mainstream media. But if you had some ragtag group of far right voters, party members of you know members of the Republican Party in Alabama, Florida, Georgia, come out saying that they wanted to do something like this. They wanted, we want, do some. I can't think of something that a group of Republicans would want to do that's as bad as wanting to turn this country socialist. But if they said anything like this would be the lead story in every network and above the fold in every newspaper. But you've got part of the Democratic Party in Nevada saying they want socialism. And they want it now. And they've got elected leaders within the party, within the state party, saying this. It's chilling because it's being accepted by the media. And when I say it's being accepted, they're ignoring it. They're ignoring what was said. They're not making it into an issue. And that's what's scary to me. Now, you see a bunch of us commentators, bunch of us, political junkies. We talk a lot about what the media says and don't say, what they cover and don't cover. Because what the media deems newsworthy is what people will deem to be newsworthy, what people will deem to be important. So we have the Gannett Press, we have the New York Times, ABC, we got Mickey Mouse determining what is and isn't important news, what should be talked about today, what kind of spin should be put on it today. It's like the Scott Adams thing. They're not talking about the fact that only, and I'm going to use their numbers, 53% of the respondents to this Rasmussen poll felt that it was okay to say it's okay to be white. They're not reporting on the fact that only 53% of black people said that, agreed with that statement, and therefore 47 people disagreed with it, which is a huge portion of the respondents. They're not making that the issue. They're making it an issue that what Scott Adams said in response to that poll. So they're not making the poll itself the flashpoint. They're making what Scott Adams said. And therefore, anybody who agrees with what Scott Adams said in any way, shape, and or form is a racist, is wrong think. And he needs to be canceled. So, we've just got to remember, we've got to find these tidbits of news like this and look at it for ourselves. Sometimes the media screws up and tells us something that they don't want us to know. Yeah, but the majority of the country agrees with them. That's a joke. I should have as much right to say it's, and when I've got some about 30-40% of my genetic heritage is Irish. Now, come St. Patrick's Day, everybody wants to be Irish. So I can walk around wearing a shirt saying, "Kiss me, I'm Irish." It's okay to be Irish. On St. Patrick's Day, I can do that. Because everybody wants to be Irish on St. Patrick's Day. Because you got the green beer. Because basically everybody wants to go out and have a big party and get drunk. It's like all these people that go out and get celebrate Cinco de Mayo. Which I have to admit, I sort of appreciate everybody wanting to party on my anniversary. It didn't register with me until long after we got married on the 5th of May. That was, the Cinco de Mayo. It didn't click with me for a few years. But then you have to properly celebrate Cinco de Mayo. If you're a white man, you can't wear a sombrero and a fake mustache and a serape and the rest of this stuff. You have to properly celebrate Cinco de Mayo. You have to show respect for Cinco de Mayo. But St. Patrick's Day, I just go out and wear something green and get drunk. It doesn't matter. Well, the gun issue is the gun grabbers are fighting a losing battle, I think, on the gun issue. I really do. Because there are so many people. I just saw a Twitter or something this morning. This guy, he's sitting in a black guy standing there in a room, and he's got about 15 or so ARs staying up against the wall and a blanket full of guns on the floor. And he said he's been buying these now for a few years. And the only people he knows of trying to take them away from him is the liberal Democrats. So, hey, Rogue, how you doing today? All right, so and let's see what we got here. So anyway, yeah, we've got the Democratic Party. The socialists within the Democratic Party are getting really bold, and they're being accepted. Okay. Oh, Nils is always in trouble. But you see, it doesn't seem to be all loss. Oh, what the hell? Why did that huge audible thing pop up on my screen? But not everything is lost. Not everything is lost here because we've got this going on. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Neil, since you got me talking about guns, I'm going to swap over to this real quick. Gun control laws, everybody wants to talk about how the gun control laws, have always been a thing in the country. And they point back to back in the Wild West, there are towns that when you entered the town, you had to surrender your guns or, stuff like that. This was the main thing right here. This is where gun control and gun control laws uh, really took effect, have their meat. 1929. In the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, 1929, 4 men who were likely associated with Al Capone used machine guns to kill 7, just 7, rival gang members. Chicago had long endured an epidemic of gang shootings and was attempting to crack down on machine gun killings. But because the guns were easily obtainable elsewhere, there was little to be done. However, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre caught the attention of national lawmakers. So the death of 7 criminals by other criminals. Let's keep that in mind. 7 gang members killed by 7 other gang members. Who used the event as a platform to launch a new gun control laws. The shooting led to the National Firearms Act of 1934, which heavily regulated and taxed machine guns. The act also created a national registry for all guns. Later legislation in 1986 banned the sale of new fully automatic firearms. However, Chicago still suffers a major gun violence problem, and lawmakers today are proposing new restrictions even before the Parkland tragedy. All right. Now, the other day, they were discussing gun controls on Monkey Stream. And I kept bringing up that there was no real national gun control laws until the St. Valentine's Day Massacre happened. Most of the gun control laws currently in place have been in place less than 100 years. So let's just think about that. And it was the death of 7 gang members by 4 other gang members. So this was a gang shootout between the Bloods and the Crips. It'd be like using something between the Bloods and the Crips today, where only somebody from the Crips was killed, and Washington, D.C. blowing up and creating all kinds of gun control laws because they're tired of criminals shooting each other. Exactly, Rogue. Gangs don't obey laws. And the only thing most of these laws do is to make law abiding citizens into outlaws. By making what we have illegal, they turn us into criminals if we don't want to turn in whatever item that is. You're not a criminal simply for possessing an item. You're not. If you simply possess, and I'm going to actually, a lot of people will be shocked to hear this. I don't care if you own a drug. I don't care if you take a drug. As long as when you take that drug, anything you are held responsible for anything and everything you do. And you can't use the defense. Oh, I was high, man. I didn't realize what I was doing. Oh, I was drunk. I didn't realize what I was doing. I was stoned, man, and I can't help what I do when I'm stoned. No. As long as you are held legally liable for what you did under the influence of that drug, as if you were stone cold sober, I don't care. That's you putting that drug in your body. Now, you put that drug in someone else's body, now we got an issue. Oh, it's about control, Neil. Now, the amount of I've owned guns or have had access to guns since I was 6 years old. And I'm using that as that because that's when I was given my first gun. That's when I got my first gun. And no, I'm not talking about a BB gun either. I'm talking about a 22 rifle. I got my first revolver when I was 7 or 8 years old. Now I had them taken away from me for a year or so because I did something stupid. And got my butt blistered every 15 minutes for 2 hours. My dad came up them stairs and blistered my butt. Oh God, I'm 63 years old and I still remember that. That happened 55, 56 years ago, and I still remember to this day laying in my bed, rubbing my sore ass, and hearing my dad coming up them stairs and knowing my ass was going to get even more sore. So yeah, every 15 minutes he'd come up with that belt of his and just blistered my butt for 2 hours. God, that hurt. I remember it to this day. That was an effective punishment. I never did what I did to get that whooping again. I've never done it again in my life. So now what? Anyway, yeah, it's not a gun issue. It's a people issue. And nobody should be held as a criminal for what they own until they misuse it, until they do something criminal with it. I listening to an article. Somebody up in the Pennsylvania area had contaminated. They found a bunch of quote unquote contaminated gummies with fentanyl. These are the cannabis gummies, but they also had fentanyl in them, and people were being hospitalized for you know, the fentanyl poisoning. Now that's, you know, but anyway, um, so if you want that, like I said, I don't care what you own. I don't care what you do until what you do negatively affects other people. All right. It's that simple. Once you start negatively affecting children, anybody under the age of 17, once you start affecting people under 17 and under, once you start affect as, and once you come even close to anybody under the age of 10, 12, then the younger you get, the more hate you're going to get from me when you start messing with children. Okay, here we go. University of Texas system halts all DEI programs following the backlash. Yes. And it's just not Texas. University of North Carolina moves to ban. University of North Carolina moves to ban diversity, equity, and inclusion statements and anti-woke backlash. UNC Chapel Hill drops DEI hiring requirement and growing backlash. University of North Carolina Chapel Hill announces plans to ditch diversity and equity and inclusion requirements in the hiring quota criteria following a board of governors meeting on Thursday. The college will no longer solicit nor require an employee or applicant for academic admission or employment to affirmatively ascribe to or opine about beliefs, affiliations, ideas, or principles regarding matters of contemporary political debate or social action as a condition to admission, employment, or professional advancement. The statement added that hiring practices will further prohibit statements of commitment to particular views on matters of contemporary political debate or social action contained on applications or qualifications for admission or employment, including critical criteria for analysis of an employee's career progression. Under That statement alone says so much about what was happening at UNC Chapel Hill. If you did not agree politically and state so, proudly state so, raise that right arm in that familiar fashion and swear allegiance to the far left, then you weren't going to get hired. You stood a chance of not being hired. You stood a chance of not being accepted into the college as a student. You were not, you stood a chance of not getting advanced as a teacher or employee. If you did not sing the song of the people, if you were not in perfect tune with them. Oh, if you and North Carolina colleges in now Texas and Florida are doing it by law. Governor Abbott and Governor DeSantis, they've basically told the college public universities they can't do it anymore. But UNC decided to do this on their own. That makes me happy. You know, I'm happy to see governors forcing their colleges, state-run colleges, to stop doing it. I'm even happier though to see colleges doing it on their own. That makes me even happier to see that. The announcement came on the heels of a unanimous decision by the Board of Trustees to create a school of civic life and leadership aimed at reinforcing free speech and debate. Now, some of these people are a little upset about this. How dare you tell people they don't have to agree with me? How dare you tell people that they can hold a view opposite of mine? I'm right. Don't you know that? I'm the person that knows what's better. Remember that teacher out of I believe she was out of Florida. No, she's either out of South Florida or Arizona. How dare we let parents decide or have a voice in what their children are taught? I've got a master's degree. I know better. Are we vetting these parents to know what to know what they know? How dare we? We're all professionals here. We know better. I want to see. I'm hoping more colleges and more universities step up and do this shit. How dare these colleges and universities push this and let's get even further. Let's start forcing these colleges and universities to stop forcing our children going to schools that we're paying for to have to take a women's studies course or a gender equity course or a racial history course in order to graduate. Let's get rid of them. Let's make these colleges stop forcing our children to take them classes. After all, when these kids are going to that class, we're paying for it. We're paying that college. These colleges should not be there to force our kids to learn and be uh, brainwashed by these woke left wing instructors. Oh, are you leaving, Rogue? I'm sorry. Well, you have a good day. I hope everything goes well for you down there. I like having you pop in the stream. But yeah, we need this. This is a good first step, though, getting rid of these colleges and universities getting rid of DEI. Let's hire the people into the schools that are best for what they teach, for their subject matter expertise, not because of their political beliefs. Their political belief. An English teacher, we covered this last week, I believe, or the week before. An English teacher should not be teaching racism in their class. They should be teaching English. If they're teaching English history, English literature, whatever, they should not be teaching about racism. Racism, racial justice, none of that should be in an English class, a math class, a science class. And no witch doctor in the desert or in the jungles of Africa can call down lightning to strike down his enemies. No group of Native Americans dancing around a fire beating on drums can bring in rain. That doesn't happen. You can't call down rain by beating on a damn drum and dancing around in a circle. Psychic surgery is not a thing. I can't believe we still have to talk about this stuff in 2023. I can't believe we still have to talk about the fact that skin color doesn't matter. That a person's character is more important than the color of their skin. I can't believe we still have to talk about it. I can't believe we still have to say that what you have between your legs is more important. Or is I can't believe there are some people out there saying that what you have between your legs is more important than what you have inside your brain. I can't believe we still have to sit here and say that men can't do everything women can, and women can't do everything men can. That there are differences between the male body and the female body. I can't believe we still got to say that. Yeah, CK, I remember that Give Peace a Chance. It's 2023, people. Let's get our acts together. I saw a video this morning. I showed it to my wife. Supposedly it was in a DMV, and there's a pregnant woman, not 9 months pregnant, 8 months pregnant, probably 5, 6, 7 months pregnant. She was sitting on the floor because there was no place, all the chairs were taken. And this other woman got pissed off about it and went around and pulled out her cell phone and walked around and asking the men why aren't you giving up your chair for this pregnant woman to sit in? And the guys just looked at her. And she's sitting there and she's berating the men for not giving up her chair. Did she talk to a single woman and ask any of the women that were sitting there why they didn't give up their chairs for the pregnant woman to sit down in? No. It had to be a man giving up his chair for a pregnant woman to sit down. Now, in theory, yes, somebody should have gave that pregnant woman a place to sit down. Okay. But when I go someplace and I've got to stand in line though, because there's no chairs, and I'm standing there leaning on my cane. There's no. Well, we need to give this old fart using a cane a place to sit down because of his legs. Nobody gives a damn about that. That doesn't happen. That's not a thing. Duck Dog, again, in the broad conversation of things, you're right. You're absolutely right. Equal rights, equal less. If you want, but there is such a thing too as, damn it, this woman's carrying a baby. Give her a place to sit down. We want her to continue the human race. Give her some special consideration. She is pregnant. All right. I'm more about those equal rights, equal less when that woman comes up and slaps you across the face. Then after that, she gave you her right. Now you give her your left. I've never had anybody give up their chair for me either, CK. I've, standing in line, leaning on my cane, and I've never had anybody, or in a waiting room, never had anybody offer me up a chair either. But that's a matter of fact, and I'm not going to sit there and, well, I need a place to sit down. No one will give me a chair. And I'd be embarrassed if I had somebody else go up and start, well, why aren't you giving up their chair for this woman, for this man? Why aren't you giving up their chair, your seat for them? I'd embarrass the hell out of me, no matter how much pain I was in. But yeah, I understand it though. I understand why the men were just sitting there. But I'm more concerned why the woman, the Karen who broke out her camera and was wanting to berate all the men for not giving up their chairs. Why wasn't she asking the women? There are women there just as just as capable of giving up their chairs for that pregnant woman to sit down. And you would think a woman would be there first to do it, especially one that's got children. You would think that'd be, the woman seeing that this other woman's sitting on the floor would be the first one to give up her chair. Oh yeah, CK, I've been yelled at for opening a door for a woman too. So unless they're my age or older, I don't open doors for women anymore, or my wife. No, I always open the door for my wife. Like I try to open and close the car door for it, while the truck door for it, when we're getting in and out, when we go places. No, but that's just because I love my wife and I want to show her that respect. But that's different than doing it for Jane Doe, who just happens to be walking into Walmart behind me. So, but anyway, we do have these universities finally, a few of them. Some of them because the governors are ordering it. Some of them because uh, the board of regents or the board of governors are ordering it. Starting to get rid of this DEI, and that's good news. That's something I want to see happen more often. Okay. Oh, I got that story up there like 3 times. And since we're talking about the schools anyway, we've seen that these school board meetings, the parent would get up and read out of a book that's being assigned to children, or that is sitting in that elementary school's library. I don't care about that trial. I haven't paid any attention to it.
Absurd censorship sinking its fangs into more iconic children's books. That's vivid writing. The publisher of classics like Matilda and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is now scrubbing
Where is
all
this
of Roald
audio
Dahl's
coming
books
from?
with a woke eye to make them, quote, more inclusive. For example, the tiny men in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory
There it is.
are now.
All right. School district forced to pay over $100K in legal fees after banning moms from exposing pornographic materials. The group called Mama Bears claimed in a federal lawsuit their First Amendment rights were violated. A school district, after banning moms from exposing pornographic material at school board meetings, Forsyth County School District agreed to pay attorney fees in a federal lawsuit brought by a group of parents who were censored at school board meetings. The group called Mama Bears claimed in the lawsuit that their First Amendment, and won the case due to the legal representation of the Institute for Free Speech. The Bears settled the lawsuit against the Georgia School District after one of the group's members was barred from reading sexually explicit excerpts at school board meetings. The school board is paying the Mama Bears $17.91, and their attorneys are getting $107.5 grand. Fee shifting, so $17 is what the Mama Bears got, 91 cents. But their attorneys, man, they're getting rich. They got $107 grand out of this deal. That's a lot of money. Fee shifting is an important feature of our civil rights laws, and successful plaintiffs who are able to show government officials censoring them are entitled to having their attorney fees paid by wrongdoers. Just like any other form of illegal discrimination, we hope school board members and their lawyers take note. The court also enjoined the district and affiliate parties from prohibiting the plaintiffs or any current or future members from speaking at the school board meetings, from reading or quoting verbatim from the text of any book or written materials available in any library or classroom while addressing the school board from public comment period. The book, okay, this happened a year ago. The book she read in public was extremely loud and incredibly close, and reads, I know someone is giving you a BJ by putting your, I know you give someone a BJ by putting your penis, her She was interrupted by one of the school board members after reading the text. Uh, Man, I hate these articles like this. She was cut off for a second time the next month. Her actions prompted the school board to send her a letter banning her from school board meetings until she complied with school board policies. Districts claimed that Harris' actions violated their public participation policy at school board meetings. So you can't read a children's book that the school is putting out at the school board meetings because the school board found the book offensive. If it's too offensive to be read at a school board meeting, it is too offensive to be in the school's library. How's that for an idea? How's that for a winner of an idea? And of course, the insurance company had to pay for the legal fees, including this. So, yeah, insurance rates going up. That means the taxes on the people are going up. This is why it's important that we know who we're electing, even at school board level. Because remember, every time a police gets sued and lose a case, every time the school board is sued and loses a case, anytime any of these people are sued, we're paying for it as taxpayers. We're paying their attorney's fees. We're paying for the insurance that these people have to cover their losses when they lose in court. We're paying for these. And when the insurance company jacks up their rates because they've done too many stupid things, we're paying those increased rates. It doesn't come out of the school board pockets and solely out of their pockets. Because the answer, they got the rest of us out there doing it. I'm at the point that I am ready to say that anytime a school board or a sheriff is sued and loses a case that never should have happened in the first place, every member of that school board should be immediately removed and replaced. That sheriff should be removed and replaced. That police chief should be removed and replaced. Any teachers involved, any police officers involved in those cases should be removed and banned from holding that position ever again in their lives. If you are costing the American taxpayers, and if you're costing your taxpayers more money because you're doing stupid stuff that you should know better, you shouldn't be in that job. I don't care how you got elected. You still should not be in that job. Because you are not doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're holding court. You're acting like you are a low lordlet or something. At best, you're acting like a little lordlet. You may think you're an emperor or a king or God even. Yeah, I've got a master's degree. I know better than what the parents do. As And maybe that would force the rest of these teachers, see some school boards removed from office, see some teachers fired, removed from their classrooms, and have their teaching licenses or certificates removed, taken away. Same way with law enforcement. See them lose their licenses to be law enforcement and have their pensions hit for any financial penalties. See how fast the rest of them learn what is and isn't acceptable, what is and isn't legal, what is and isn't constitutional, and that they don't have special rights, special knowledge, special anything else, that they all work for the people. Whether they like it or not, they are public servants. Ramen, by the way, good morning, Ramen. I hope I didn't miss you coming in earlier, but you're exactly right. Any teacher, any school board that allows that kind of stuff in their school system should be put on the sexual predator list. I'm not going to argue with you on that. But yeah, I mean, parents, ever since the case in Virginia, Laughlin, I believe, that school district where that poor girl was raped and the rapist was sent to another school where he raped another girl. And then you had that teacher in either Washington or Oregon who sat there and said, I've got 188 days to turn your kids into Antifa supporters. And then you have these other teachers. You have that teacher that refused to put up the American flag, but had her kids in the classroom doing the Pledge of Allegiance to the gay pride flag. When this stuff started getting exposed to the parents, and the parents realized what was their teachers and the school boards were allowing to happen in their schools, parents woke up. They blindly trusted these teachers and school boards to be doing the right thing. And we learned that they're not doing the right thing. They don't treat our kids the way they're supposed to. Yeah, I know. You guys are probably getting tired of hearing me harp on and on about schools and teachers and all the shit that they're doing and why we should not be allowing them to get away with what they do. But I believe strongly in it. I believe strongly we need to hold these teachers and our police and our elected officials to account for everything they do when it affects our lives. I'm not going to disagree with too much there, what you just said there, CK. Well, I know I sent Raman, I did send you a link if you want to pop in. I can get rid of that one because I talked about that. All right. I've only got one last thing on my list of stuff I wanted to cover here this morning. Anybody who owns, yeah, Badger, you're right. A lot of stuff got exposed. Oh, I'm sorry you're not feeling good, Ramen. I hope you get feeling better. Got one last thing here I want to talk about this morning. And I did not know. Again, this is something that I hadn't heard of in the news until I saw this. Just happened to catch, went down a rabbit hole. I saw somebody on Twitter made a complaint about this, that their car insurance got dropped, or they couldn't get car insurance because of the car they owned, and insurance companies wouldn't cover it. I'm like, huh? What kind, and she said, car insurance companies, the only time I've seen them refuse to cover a vehicle is because of the owner, not, a street legal vehicle, because of stuff they own. The owner's got too many tickets, or, DUI or something like that. But no. Hyundai and Kia models being blacklisted by State Farm. State Farm is turning away new customers trying to insure Accent, Optimas, Konas, and Santa Fe's, Sonatas, Souls, and Tucsons. Thefts of Hyundai and Kia vehicles have soared thanks to social media and the lack of engine immobilizers. And this has resulted in a handful of insurance companies refusing to cover affected models. We're now getting a better idea which vehicles being blacklisted, as WWL has obtained lists from State Farm, instructs employees not to insure certain models unless the sales associate has verified the presence of a passive engine immobilizer. The list is extensive and mentions the 2015 to 2021 Accent, Elantra, Kona, Santa Fe, Sonata, and Tucson. It also includes the 2015 to 2018 Velostar, Veloster, Veloster. On the Kia side, models include the 2015 to 2021 Forte, Optima, Rio, Sedona, Soul, and Sportage. The 2015 to 2016 Optima Hybrid and Sorento have also been placed on the naughty list. Two employees told the station that blacklist only applies to customers seeking a new policy and is in effect in the states of Georgia, Louisiana, Oregon, Pennsylvania, and Washington. So unless your car, hey, now I gotta disagree with you, Neil. I had two Kia Sportages, and I loved both of them. They got good gas mileage, and especially when I was driving almost 200 miles a day, an hour and a half each way from home to work. It was great. I mean, that Kia Sportage was a great vehicle to have. It was not a throwaway. It's a thing in your key fob that, unless you got the programmed key fob in your car won't start. They can have a key that's correctly cut, but without that little thing inside the electronics signaling thing inside your key fob, the car won't start. That's why it costs you $200. You go to your dealership to get a new key for your car, you expect to spend $300 on that key. You'll spend $200 on the key itself and another $100 to get it programmed. Or if you buy a key from off of Amazon, you stand a chance of it not accepting the program correctly to work with your vehicle. Great call back there, Jojo. Love it. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty wild that you've got, if you go out to buy a new car, or you buy a car, be careful. Make sure that it comes with the key fob and that you've got, the extra couple $300 per key that you need. Like when I bought my truck, I came with one key, and I needed a couple. One key is not good. I need at least two spares. I need one to give to the wife. Then I need one that I call my mechanic's key. Then when I take the truck in for repairs, that's the key I give them. And then I also give a key to I actually gave a key to my son. So fortunately, a friend of mine is a locksmith, and he got me keys at his cost and programmed them, cut them and programmed them for me. And I gave him $100. He was going to do them for me for free. I gave him $100. He did 5 keys for me. So unless you've got a friend that's a locksmith, expect to pay $300 for a key. Because they are not. It's outrageous at that, the cost of that. Oh, Twitter yesterday. How many people? I got a bunch of them. Got a bunch of Instagram links from people you know. Somebody got hacked a lot of accounts yesterday and sent out a whole. You only pay $50 a key? That's. Is it Duck Dog? Is that one of the new keys that have got the fob on it, for unlocking and locking your doors remotely? Or that has got the electronics inside of it to keep your, so that you're allowed to start your car? So, well, if you're getting away at $50 and that's including the programming, you've gotten a good deal. Because on my 2005 Dodge Dakota pickup truck, they wanted $300 a key when I went to the Dodge dealership. When I went to my locksmith, it cost me $50 for the 5 keys. And then, like I said, I gave him $100 to program it. So let's see here. DeSantis done something here. What did DeSantis just do? But yeah, uh, yeah. Okay, what supposedly has DeSantis just done? Oh, DeSantis ends corporate kingdom and takes control of Disney World's special districts. Yeah, okay. That's not new news. It's just continuation of old news. So CNN is still doing hit pieces on Fox News. Yeah, we know that. So, uh, yeah, if you have a Twitter account, though, I would be. I did it yesterday. I'd be changing passwords to your Twitter account. Yeah, a good local locksmith is a. It's amazing how often you need one. And when you need one, if you're not friends with them, you are going to pay through the nose to get anything done. So, and that is really all I have got for the day. So, if you've got anybody got anything they want to talk about, 93 S10. Yeah, I had a 90s S10. That was a good solid truck and until uh till the frame rotted out. Salt water is not exactly solid on frames. But anyway, oh my God. I'm not going to pull up the news article. I'm just going to show you the screen grab from it. This is how ugly things are getting. Just saw this on Twitter. Rejecting the use of transphobic, or rejecting the use of Latinx is transphobic. You have got to be kidding me. What kind of nonsense is that? Uh, it's it's scary what these people do anymore. All right, well, this is all I got for the day, guys. I want to thank y'all for coming out and listening to me rant. I do appreciate it. Yeah, use the newspeak. I paid 5 grand for this truck I've got now for this 2005. And but I made the dealership do about 6 grand worth of repairs to it that my mechanic found before I paid for it. So they end up losing money on it on this truck, but they wanted to get rid of it. So Oh my God. People, we are a lost world. We are lost. I just hope no children were involved here. Yeah, Neil. I just hope there's no children out here in the audience. Because if there's any children there, this guy should be arrested. This guy should be arrested for this. There's the nightmare dreams. There's the thing for the nightmare, for your nightmares. All right. I want to apologize for that, but if I had to see it, y'all had to see it. Anyway, everyone, have a good day. Enjoy yourselves. I should be back tomorrow because I've got a whole list of things to talk about. Yeah, cleanse it with fire. Anyway, have a good day, people. As always, be with the one.